welcome to Prudent Media. My name is Sachin Chatte and on this program we take a look at the latest releases. This week we will take a look at the new Ayushmann Khurrana film called Dr. G and the horror flick Halloween Ends. First, let's take a look at Dr. G. To start with, Dr. G has a template that you wish more Hindi films would follow. It is crisp, it is to the point, and it doesn't drag on till the cows come home. At just about 2 hours, this film, which marks the debut of Anubhuti Kashyap, it is refreshing and it drives home certain points without being preachy. And given what one has to endure every Friday, this is a fun outing which is very satisfactory. Ayushmann Khurrana continues to chart the path that he has carved for himself. This time, he plays Dr. Uday, who has completed his MBBS and wants to do his master's degree. His choice is orthopedics, but much to his chagrin and disappointment, he gets admission for gynecology. Even though the film is about the doctor and his transformation, it is populated with some remarkable female characters. His mother is played by Shiva Chadda, who is terrific as always. Now she is supportive of her son and is also looking to live her own life. She posts selfies on social media, she's an aspiring participant in a cookery show called Kitchen Captain, and she even joins Tinder. The other woman at that point in his life is his girlfriend, who will soon become his ex. Uday, for the life in him, cannot understand why she would dump him. "Hum Kabir Singh jaise thodi hai," he says, referring to one of the most toxic masculine characters that we have ever seen in the history of cinema. In fact, Uday thinks that he is a liberal. The writing there cleverly makes a point though. You don't necessarily have to be toxic to be intrusive and unlikable. Many of the default settings of men in the society are such that they don't have to be evil to be unpleasant or wrong. A scene where his mother is enjoying the evening with another man shows Uday's state of mind. The writing depicts him as a traditional conservative man who gets reformed, but all that happens very quickly and conveniently. Now that was my minor squabble with the writing, because ultimately the point is still made. Since he is studying gynecology in the Stree Rog Vibhag, as it is called, the class is full of women who even rag him at one point. The department head is played by Shefali Shah, who is Dr. Nandini, and she is a no-nonsense lady who tells Uday to shape up or ship out. Rakul Preet Singh plays his colleague Fatima. He likes her, she likes him, the feeling is mutual, except there is a slight problem, and that is that she is engaged to someone else. Fortunately, the film doesn't end the way that most Bollywood films do, which is very refreshing to see. Uday also has a tenant in his house played by Abhay Chintamani Mishra, who is more of a friend, and the two discuss everything under the sun, from career to girlfriends, but mostly girlfriends. Uday is disinterested in the subject that he's studying, and even when he decides to apply himself, he doesn't quite know how to go about it. After all, he starts on a note where he says, "Jo cheez mere paas hai hi nahi, uska main ilaj kaise karu?" Which means, how can I treat something that I don't have? The women primarily help to complete the arc of Uday's character. Now, whether it is his personal growth through his mother and colleague, or professional growth with his department head, and also while dealing with the lady patients, it is nice to see a film that delicately balances the genders. On the flip side, there is constant background music that goes on which grates on your nerves. It is as if the filmmakers were unsure that the visuals and dialogues won't be enough to convey what they want to say. Also, there is animation showing the score between Uday and the Stree Rog Vibhag, which is rather silly and totally pointless. Of the cast, Ayushmann Khurrana slips in effortlessly in this role. Rakul Preet Singh plays her part effectively in the screen time that she has, while the other two ladies, which is Shiva Chadda and Shefali Shah, both are absolutely first rate. All in all, this may not be a perfect delivery, but it is still a healthy one. I'm going to go with 3 out of 5 stars for Dr. G. The other release of this week is an English flick called Halloween Ends. Well, it is that time of the year. Now, another year and another Halloween movie. About a year ago, at the same time, Halloween Kills was released, and now we have the third installment of the series that was rebooted in 2018 by director David Gordon Green. Hopefully, this will be the last of the Halloween films we are going to see for a while now. The Halloween film started more than 40 years ago when John Carpenter introduced us to the serial killer Mike Myers. Little did Carpenter know that his creation would still be alive and kicking after 4 decades. Jamie Lee Curtis is still very much around as Laurie. She has not only been a part of this trilogy reboot, but she was also around when the first Halloween film was released back in 1978. And subsequently, she has played that role half a dozen times. Halloween Ends begins with a tragedy involving Corey Cunningham, played by Rohan Campbell. He's a young man who is held responsible for a death. Now, Michael Myers has gone missing in action in Haddonfield in Illinois after the events of the previous film. That is the place where all the death and destruction was caused. In the interim, Laurie, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, is healing from the death of her daughter Karen, and she is also raising her granddaughter Allison, played by Andy Matichik. She is indulging in writing a memoir after all that she has seen and endured, and she has definitely seen and endured a lot. The young lady meanwhile falls for Corey, who is still ostracized and bullied owing to the tragic events of the past. Now this brings Mike Myers back in action eventually, and the stage is all set for some slashing and some gore. You would expect some kind of an engaging climax since this is the end of the trilogy, but it finishes with a whimper. I'm sure it is just a matter of time before Mike Myers is back. Now the only question is, how long will it take? So all said and seen, I'm going to go with 2 out of 5 stars for the new movie called Halloween Ends. In a way, I am relieved that it has ended. Well, that's what I thought of the films that were released this week. Do let us know what you think. Do write into us. Our address is features@prudentmedia.in. And I'll be back with you next week with more movie reviews. Till then, it's goodbye from me.